What if I were to become the president of Russia tomorrow? What would I do? In this live stream, I'll tell you exactly that. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. You will not find here propaganda, BS, or lies. You will find here truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions too, because I am a human being after all. You know, it'll be a naive stream. Naive and laughable. Because I'm not a politician. Have never been, never will be. But I'm not afraid if someone laughs at me, as what I'm about to tell today will come from my heart. Do it. Laugh. Knock yourself out. First things first, a disclaimer. I have neither any intentions or desire to turn politician, and moreover, to try to become the president of Russia. No. The chances of me becoming the president of Russia are slimmer than winning the Powerball, and the chances of me winning the Powerball are not high at all. So, no presidency for me. I merely want to share my ideas of what I would do first if, let's go. Let's suppose tomorrow morning I sit in that big chair in that important room in the Kremlin. Suppose tomorrow morning I possess exact amount of power that the current president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has today. More or less absolute power. It means that the vertical of power answers to me. The provincial governments and the governors answer to me. The Parliament of Russia answers to me. The Supreme Court answers to me. All those power agencies, Siloviki, KGB, the Army, the Federal Police, the State Police, the Ministry of Emergency Situations, the Investigation Committee, the Attorney General, the Army Reconnaissance Service, the Secret Service, the Customs Service, and perhaps there are other services in Russia that I don't really know of, secret services. Anyway, all government agencies that have legal right to use violence against Russian citizens, suppose I rule them. They look closely for every word I say, and that comes out of my mouth, and they sit in front of me and waiting for me to do something. What do I do? Well, I would do this. In the very first day, if I found myself in that position, the very first thing I'd do would be summoning the Minister of Defense and signing a ceasefire decree. Not one single shot to be fired in Ukraine anymore. Second, I would address the nation. And I would write my own speech for that. My message is, one big message for them, for the people, would be something like this. My fellow Russians, we have a lot to work on. We have a lot of work to do. We have to find out what the hell happened to us, to our country, and to us, regular people. We have to figure out how to fix this. And we have to figure out how we're going to be living in the future. Third, I would suspend all propaganda media outlets until investigations conducted and the decisions are made in the future. Number 4, I would pick up a phone and call the Ukrainian President Zelensky, humbly asking him for a permission to meet him in Kiev. And I'm pretty sure he would be glad to meet me. Number 5, the next thing I'd do, I'd jump to the Air Force One and I'd fly to Kiev, where I would face the Ukrainian leadership. And that'd be a very tough meeting and a very tough situation. very painful for me, I think for everyone else. I'd look, well, at least I'd try to look those people in their eyes and apologize. I would propose an immediate ceasefire and to start drafting a peace treaty, a peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine. And that'd be my message in that meeting, not jump back on the plane and fly back to Moscow, to the Kremlin. Number 6, upon returning to Moscow, I would pardon Navalny, Karamurza, and all political prisoners. No questions asked. Number 7, then I'd sign a decree obliging all Russian troops move back to the Russian territory. No questions asked. All stolen land would have to be returned back to Ukraine. And number 8, at the end of the day, I'd go online and do a live stream where I'd tell everyone how my day went. I'd speak in Russian and I'd do the live streams from then and on every single evening in Russian for the Russians. And I'll be speaking to the Russians, trying to win their hearts. And at the end of every stream, I would invite entire Russia to pray along with me. I'd be doing it every single day from the day one. And the day one would be a very busy day. I could tell you how, at least sketch out how my day would go, my first day of the presidency, but I couldn't tell you how I'd plan my every other day afterwards. That's just too difficult and too time-consuming. I'll just tell you what I would do in a few months, starting day 2. The priorities I can't tell you either because, that'd be a lot of work, that'd be a lot of tasks, and some of them would have higher priority than the others. It's just, I don't think there's a reason for that to go that deep, okay? So basically, the very first things I'd do, I would move out of the Kremlin. The Kremlin is a terrible place. I've been to the Kremlin before, and it's difficult simply to tour the place, let alone work there, have an office there, have living there, spend so much time. For the last 400 years, the Kremlin's been the quintessence of murder, abuse of power, cheating, lying, this illegal expansion, grabbing others' lands, etc. That would end with me if I'd go to the I would become a president of Russia. That would end that very day. I would pick a nearby office building and move there. That's it, just like that. A public place where everyone could see me, could see what I'd be doing. A complete transparency. That's what I'd be looking for. And the Kremlin, I would make it a museum. Not a history museum, but what the worst of humanity can come up with, because that's such place. At the same time, I would order to demolish the Kremlin walls. The walls are a symbol of the divide between Russian people and the ruling class. The higher class, the lower class. So I'd knock down the walls in this very symbolic move. And I think it'd be a fantastic idea. Now, if you go to the Red Square and, you look at the Kremlin and stare at it, people say, well, the Kremlin is right in front of me. But that's not true. The Kremlin wall, a huge one, I don't know, 40, 50 feet, is what is on the Red Square, not the Kremlin itself. The Kremlin is a castle. But you know what? This is 21st century, and Russia doesn't need castles anymore. So the walls would have to go. And basically, I'd be focusing on a few areas of life in Russia, and let me tell you of these areas. First, and the most important area is Russian people. I'd be trying real hard to get to the hearts of Russian people. I'd be trying to appeal to what's left of decent human beings in them, trying to wake them up. I'd have to be absolutely honest with them and open and transparent. I could not be lying. I could not be trying to outsmart them or whatever. I just, whatever I would be speaking with them would have to be coming out of my heart. I would shut off all propaganda outlets, all Russian propaganda, and would start showing and telling people the truth. And the truth would be extremely painful. What happened in Ukraine? You don't have to do much. You just have to interview the soldiers. And I'm pretty sure they would break down and start telling the truth, okay? You would have to show the reality of what has happened in Ukraine. Ukraine villages, Ukrainian towns and cities, not the pretty propaganda pictures, but to show how things are, okay? And I think that would be enough to melt at least some Russians' hearts, okay? So I definitely would be telling them the truth. The second area I'd be concentrating on is legislation. Hugely important. The laws got to change. Russia's got to become a lawful society, not the lawless like it is right now. Research of the laws that have taken away personal freedoms in the last 20 months and perhaps in the last 10 years. That contributed to the building of this vertical of power. The changes to the laws would have to be made. They would have to be reversed, okay? These laws would have to be identified first and then reversed. Somehow. I don't really know how to do that because I'm not a legal professional. I'm not an attorney. What I would do, this is the idea, okay? I would identify a few decent Russians, the activists with proven track record, with clean names, and I would assemble them into a group. A group would work, brainstorm, suggest, would come up with plan of actions, and such plan would be presented, reviewed, agreed on, and later changes would have to be made according to this plan. Legislation is hugely important because everything in Russia, all the changes in the future Russia would have to be done, would have to be made in accordance with the book of law, okay? The third area of attention would be de-isolating Russia in the world. A peace treaty with Ukraine would have to be signed, and yes, the reparations would take place. There's no doubt, and gosh, they will take place in the future, no matter who the president of Russia is. They will happen, okay? Russia would need to come back to the international institutions, and yes, the International War Crimes Court with the headquarters in Hague also. But Ukraine isn't the only unsolved conflict that Russia has. Georgia and Japan, to name a few, the resolutions should be made, should be found, and the peace treaties or some kind of treaties should be signed with those countries, okay? Russia would have to end its stand with everyone, once and for all. The fourth area I'd be looking at very closely is propaganda. In Russia, this propaganda is a well-oiled machine, well-functioning machine, nearly perfect, and that machine would have to be completely destroyed. All propaganda outlets and personas, that also very important, would be investigated and punished if found guilty. The education system, the target of what they've been doing in the past 18 months, the education system would have to be brought back to normal, where the schools actually educate, not brainwash. The history books would have to be made honest, perhaps with help of public commissions in a transparent processes. And I'd be doing a lot of that. I'd be, bringing all kinds of different honest, decent people together and forming commissions, very public and very transparent. And the changes in Russia would have to come from the commissions, from groups of people. And the people would be from all walks of life, not just professional politicians or professional, educators. No, enough. They've done enough already. Okay, something's going to be done differently. The fifth, Russian army would have to be completely reformed. I gave it a thought. Russia, pretty much no country can function without an army. Okay, and Russia would still have to have an army, but that army would have to be made much smaller and defensive. Okay, not offensive, as it turned out Russian army is right now. I am very far from all military, okay, so I don't know I have a pretty good idea how to make army smaller, but I don't understand how to make it defense-oriented, okay? But I'm pretty sure there are people out there who know how to do that quite well, and I would bring people like that, The sixth area, I would pay a very close attention to the economy. Oh, I could be telling you about the economy for hours and hours, I know this is where I am an expert at. Basically, without going into many details, I would be decreasing government's involvement into the economy and bringing capitalism back. What is in Russia right now is not capitalism, and it's not working, okay? Because the only decent system, not even decent, but the only system that works is free market economy, capitalism. Lower taxes, more freedom. The government stays low as grass and no handouts. Private property is protected, is the king, and people should be rewarded for their hard work. These are Republican values, no handouts to anyone. Russia is about socialism right now and relying on government's handouts right now. We've had plenty of that. No more socialism. We got to go back to the republic. Can't really say back because Russia was never a republic. Anyway, Russia would have to go to become a republic. As economist, I know quite well what to do, okay? I'd create the working groups of good economists, and there are people like that, honest people, honest economists. Together, we would create great policies, and those policies, once implemented, they would start fixing the economy. Fixing the economy, actually, folks, it's the easiest part, okay? So, economy would have to be put back on track. Let's put it this way. The seventh area is firing the bureaucrats, making Russia's government tiny, the government's body tiny. It is huge now. Vladimir Putin has been increasing the government, and he's done such just unbelievable job. There are tens of millions of bureaucrats working for Russian government right now. They're sucking blood of Russian people. Let me give you an example, okay, so you understand. For a few years, about 10 years ago, for a couple years, I lived in Rostov-on-Don in the south of Russia. It's a 1 million people city, and it has local government, and it's a capital of a province. Also have the capital of the the government of the province. And all of a sudden, I saw an advertisement on a local newspaper that the government was organizing free seminars educating small business owners on how to do simple things, to do hiring, to do, to monitor how the workers perform, things like that. Very basic business stuff. I mean, it's ABCs of doing business. I know that so well. And I decided to chip in. I figured, hey, it's such a great, fantastic opportunity, for regular people. So I called that government body, the Department of Development of Industry, something like that. And, I talked to a secretary, and I basically offered my services for free. I said, this is my resume, okay, and this is what I can do. I can do a few seminars for free for you. I have experience, I have results I can show for, so therefore it'd be nice. You don't have to advertise, you don't have to do anything. This is just my way of chipping in a little bit. And no one got back to me. I called second time, third time, and then people started chasing me away. They got afraid of me because there were 19 departments inside, like smaller parts inside of one that huge department. 19 people worked, and every person was responsible for own area. For example, tourism, manufacturing, medicine, and so forth. And basically, as later I learned, they were doing nothing. Their job is to do nothing, to sit there and basically get paid. And all of a sudden, a guy shows up and he starts stirring the pot. And they were afraid of me. The head of the department, I finally managed to talk to him. He said to never call them again, never contacted them. They didn't need any services, stuff like that. So another example, one of the press secretaries to a local government was hired, high salary. And she was told that her KPI was to write one press release consisting of a couple lines of text an entire day. And she started doing more what was expected of her. And she was warned if she was doing more than she was told, she'd be fired. Okay, so that's how Russian government works. And what I've been doing is I would be firing everyone left and right. Okay, Russian government needs to be let go. And all people who worked for the government ever worked, they need to be lustrated, meaning they cannot be rehired ever again. No, not with the system, with the experience, and not with the loyalty to this system. Okay, so I'll be firing again left and right, and I know how to do that because I used to run companies. The eighth, the hugely important area I'd be paying attention to, I would attempt to destroy the vertical of power in Russia. Did you notice I said I would attempt? I didn't say I would destroy. Not destroy, because that'd be the most difficult and the most dangerous part. I'd have to win the support of the entire population, Russian people, to do that. I would have to be unquestionably proven leader of the country, because when I would start messing with KGB, the police, all these power agencies who have lots of power and armed, they would simply retaliate, in a very bad way. They know how to do that. But anyway, I would start with firing all judges and all policemen in Russia. Just like that, in one day. All of them would go. New Russia needs honest police force and honest courts. There's no way you can build a country without that. That's like a foundation. So what happens if you fire all the policemen? Chaos? Not really. I've seen it happen. Believe it or not, it happened twice. Once I witnessed with my own eyes, it was back in 2005 in Ukraine, out of all places in Ukraine. I worked in Ukraine. I was on a business trip, and I was in the city of Zaporozhye, not too far from that, known nuclear plant. And I was done with my business trip, and I decided to go down to Crimea before returning to Moscow to see my relatives. And I got a car, and the guy was driving me. It's 4 or 5 hour drive, I don't remember, long drive. But at that time, then new president of Ukraine, Yushchenko, fired all the police force, the traffic police. This is how he was trying to fight the corruption in the police. I saw it with my own eyes. Nothing happened. Nothing. People were behaving. Drivers were driving normally, okay? And the cops, they were just, they were fired. Everyone showed for work, but they were just standing there. They didn't stop you for any violations. But you know what? Everything was fine. We got to Crimea, same thing. There's no lowliness, no chaos, nothing. So it's possible. And the second example, Georgia. When Kaha Bendukidze was in charge of Georgian reforms in 2004, 2005, he did the same thing. He fired all the police force. He hired new ones. Then they fired those he hired because they were also, started to get corrupt. And he hired the brand new force. Everyone was fresh. And you know what? I've been to Georgia. I've seen the police. They're actually decent, honest, and they're doing their work. Okay? So it's possible. I know how to do that. I would definitely do that. And same thing goes for the judges. There are plenty of honest people in Russia. At least I believe so. If not, then there's no reason to do anything there, So I believe there are honest people who actually can perform as judges, honest judges, can make fair decisions, and judgments and things like that. So that's first things I would do, okay? And I'd completely reform how the power block works in Russia. You see, right now, all the decisions are made in Moscow by very few people. Basically, Russia is ruled by those people. And I would be giving more power to the local governments, to local people, to the provinces, and I'd be taking away powers from Moscow, from the ministries, from the federal people. Because I think the only way to go for Russia is the Republic, okay? And when all decisions are made in Moscow, that's not the Republic. Again, I don't know how I would be doing that. It's very dangerous. It would be very dangerous, but I definitely would attempt, because that's the key. That's the key. Without breaking up the power, the vertical of power, there's no future in Russia. And oh boy, they would go after me. Oh boy, they would try to kill me. They'll probably succeed. Folks, This actually what I would do if I were to become the president of Russia. Tomorrow, if I sit in the chair, I'd be doing that. I'm pretty sure I will not be, but these are my thoughts. Besides all these specific actions, I would be aiming my efforts towards one goal and one only. I would be trying to wake Russian people up. I would be trying to teach them something that they absolutely don't know, okay? Something they have not even heard in their lives. Something that they will have to learn if they want to Russia to be a good country. I'd be teaching that they are the people. They are the boss. And I, as president And everyone else in the government, in the tiny government that would be left, it's all the officials work for them. Not they work for the officials, but the officials work for them. Government is for them. Everyone else in the government is for them. And the government is the employee that can be fired at any second if we are the people aren't satisfied with the performance of any official, no matter what, from the president to a janitor, whatever. The only way I'd be doing it this very topic every single day publicly, and I would be drawing energy from my heart, because that's the only way I know, and I would be trying to connect with their hearts. It is absolutely hugely important for the Russian people to realize their true power as we are the people, okay? Again, folks, you can call me naive, you can laugh at what I just said, but I truly believe in that. If I were to become the president, I'd be doing just like that, I'd make a plan and I'd be following that plan. That's it. That's my message for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for joining. It is my honor to have you, and I would like to invite everyone to the live stream chat. I'm pretty sure you have lots of questions for me today, so I'll try to answer them, and that's my most favorite part of any stream, and I'm pretty sure today's stream falls into this very category. While I'm doing that, I would like to ask you to help me spread this message by making reposts in your social media accounts. That actually helps a lot. It feeds YouTube algorithm love, I guess, and then YouTube algorithm loves such videos more and recommends to more people. And if you want to buy me a coffee or tea, you can do that at buymeacoffee.com. I would really appreciate that. Not necessary, but would be welcomed. Thank you. The live stream chat is on. If you're not seeing it, please hit the refresh button on your web browser page and you will see me. Well, you will see the questions and we'll see everyone. In case you are here for the first time, this community has the best moderation team in the world. Lorna, Mami K, Bob S, Harry Potter, and Amir Fazat. Fantastic people and fantastic moderators. Thank you for coming. And the usual suspects with Dirk, number one. How do you do that? Thank you for coming. So, friends, if you have any questions, shoot. If you want me to read them easier, please put them in caps, all caps, and put inside Russia after @ so I see your question or comment highlighted in a large orange box, and that helps a lot. It kind of stands out, just like Baker Stock did, saying hello inside Russia. Thank you, hello, great to see you. And we have in usual suspects, as usual, no pun intended. Koshkin Don, Paula W, Leitmotiv, Hoa Marenos, Dirk, Robert, KG1, Brother Randall, Lorraine Proznovsky, Jess Terry, Kevin Baker, Samsa, good to see you, Baker Stock, RW, Howdy Friend, E. Austin, Julie W, Andy W, Roy Cousins, Letkrix, Mario Duran, Corey McGillis, and the rest usual suspects. So let me jump into... I'll move a computer so it's a little easier for me to read. Lorna, Mommy is with us in our hearts. So Sam K, howdy. You're a legend. Andres, Kareno, Frank, Joe's Rames, Lilith, Petra Olson, howdy. Dennis Kungen, Konstantin for president. Thank you, friends. No, not gonna happen. No, thank you, no, thank you. When God's kingdom comes, you are elected. Thank you, Pamela J. Thank you. Faith Russert, thank you. EW, I'm not the president, no. Rake Flyer, don't forget to like, thank you so much. Very good observation from Bihod 138. You just told the Silaviki's worst nightmare, and you're absolutely right. And that's why I think that anyone who becomes the president and would be aiming to take their power off, to take away their power, would be exterminated the very same day. Something would happen to him. They have too much power, and it's not controlled. RW, thank you so much, friend. Thank you for gifting sponsorship to 10 people from me and from 10 people. Andy W, thank you. The world needs more leaders. Thank you. Good words. I appreciate them. But again, you're absolutely right. I just told Silaviki's worst nightmare. But I don't see how in any other way Russia can become a good country. Brian LeBreton, welcome to Inside Russia, new sponsor. Thank you so much. Thomas, if you were the president and wanted to do those things, you can't drink tea anymore. No. That's what I just said. I advise not to learn to fly, stay away from all buildings. I stand by your story. Greetings from Holland. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you. I agree with you. I mean, that'd be the most dangerous job in the world. Thank you, Desecrat. I'm not the president. I'm just a regular guy, an average Joe. KG1, thank you so much. Your purge would definitely need unemployment benefits. Yeah. You know what? I would show you a combination of well, not you, but I would show a combination of a few fingers to those who would be fired from the government and needing unemployment. No, they would not get unemployment. They would have to go and sweep streets. And if they die of starvation, I wouldn't feel bad. Carson Larimore, thank you so much for coming back. Over here, the Constitution is not to protect the government from the people, but rather protect the people from the government. How about rewriting Russian Constitution? Definitely. Definitely. But that, you see, if one to become Russia's president, there are pressing issues with high priority that would have to be dealt with immediately, such as war with Ukraine and so forth, And then rewriting Constitution. I wouldn't say it rewriting. I would say Russia needs like a brand new Constitution. Something the United States does. Very simple, with a Bill of Rights, things like that. So that would have to be done, but unfortunately it cannot be done within days. It's a lot of work. It would have to be involving lots of Russian people to make the process transparent, and that's tough. That's probably one of the most difficult jobs in the world, to try to change Russia, Pinda the Peanut, deep inside Russia. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a higher tier. Much, much appreciated. Thank you. E. Austin, how would you bring peace to Ukraine and Russia? I arrived lately, sorry. This is what I started with. I actually thought so many times about that. I would simply order to cease fire to all Russian troops. And basically, I wouldn't wait. I would order them to move back to Russia. And I would pick up a phone and I would call Zelensky. And I would tell him, hey, we've got to meet and discuss things. Can you host me in Kiev in 2 hours? And most likely the answer would be yes. And I would hop on the plane and I would fly to Ukraine, to Kiev. And I would face these people. And that probably would be very tough. But you know what? I would have to look into their eyes. I apologize and tell them the intentions to be peaceful. Okay? I would tell them that Russia would cease fire immediately, and I would ask them to cease fire as well to allow Russian troops to move back to Russia safely. And I would ask them to start preparing a peace treaty, because you can't sign it in an hour or so. You know, that would be an understanding between two countries that the work for the creating a peace treaty would start, and we would take it from there. So that's how I see it. That's how I would do it. Okay. And then I would fly back and I would go live in front of the entire Russia, and I would start explaining people of why it needed to be done and what is going to happen next. Okay. Way for you. Thank you so much. How would you deal with Chinese desires for Siberia? Also, what with the demographic crisis? Something that I would pay attention to later, because to me it seems like not priority. Okay. Chinese definitely could use the moment and invade Russia. Okay, if there's a changeover of president and a new president is changing the course of things in Russia, Chinese could do that. But if they didn't, a new policy dealing with China would have to be formed, and this is a work for the professionals. I mean, I would deal with it. All I can tell you is how, I don't know. Also with the demographic crisis, you sit down at the table, you bring people over, and you tell them, hey, you know, fellas, we are fudged, okay? And we've got to do something about it. Do you have any ideas? And then you go out and then tell Russian people the very same thing, honestly. You know, Russian people, my dear Russian fellas, we are fudged. And we've done it to ourselves, okay? This is how many men we lost in Ukraine. This is how many men ran away from Russia. What do we do now? We're going to try to fix it in a possible way. And this is how I would approach it, okay? And then I would take it from there. What happened to Dmitry Gluchovsky, the famous writer? I don't know. Did he die? Hang on one second. Good question. I know that there were two writers, and I'm probably mistaking Gluchovsky with another one. But one of them died unexpectedly. No, he's still alive and well. I think he's in opposition right now. He fled Russia. Nothing's happened to him. That's another guy I was thinking about. He didn't survive. Let's put it this way. So, thank you for the question. You would need a lot of security. You know what? I would refuse. I would refuse security. I would. Justeri, I would refuse, because you know what? If they are after you, no matter how you try to protect yourself, they will get you one way or another. They are bigger, smarter, and more ruthless than you. in order to stay alive, you'd have to be absolutely open and defenseless. That'd be your biggest defense, I think. Okay. There are regular people, and probably some decent people work inside Siloviki, inside the agencies as well. And then when you explain what you are aiming at, okay, they would probably follow your cause. Okay, so I would not need a lot of security. Can Khodorkovsky be president of an open Russia? If Russians elect him, yes. You know what? I would call Khodorkovsky, and they too probably, invite him back to Russia, because he's a super smart guy, and then I would make him an advisor, and he'd be definitely advising on many, many things. Okay, so he's smarter than I am, that's for sure. Sam K, you cannot be Russian president, you're hard. Well, hard to disagree with you, you know. Janice Burgess, howdy. Frank in Texas, howdy, howdy. Yes, I laugh a bit, but just because I can see how you would become the president, well, that's exactly what I said in the beginning of the stream. I will not become the president. The chances of that are slimmer than winning the Powerball, you know. No. Suzanne Palser from the UK, look forward to the Constitution you'll be writing. I don't think I'll be writing the Constitution, sorry. But I can talk about that. David Martin, howdy. Quebec, Canada. Gilbert, am I pronouncing it right? Henrik Jensen, or Jensen, thank you so much. Most likely Jensen, you're from Denmark. Yesterday I made a mistake. I said Carlsberg was a Dutch company. Well, I make this mistake in English. Dutch and Danish, you know. Sorry, I meant Danish, of course. The Carlsberg is from Denmark, not from the Netherlands. And so many people, there must have been 10,000 comments, and some people actually took it very aggressively. How could you mistake, you know, Carlsberg is not a Dutch company. No, it's Danish. Elisa Cumbrian, howdy, good to see you. Fantastic to see you. Ann Larson. Suddenly the hope in me kind of woke up. The world is... Thank you. I don't really want to wake your hope up, because I don't... what I said, it's not gonna change Russia much. It's not gonna make me the president. It's not gonna... It's just... This is me talking the talk, folks. I walk the walk different way, okay? I do walk the walk, but this is just talking the talk. How would you deal with the oligarchs? I would not deal. In other words, I would not do anything to them. I would simply try to create the legal system that would somehow, they would have to live honestly in the framework of that system, okay? And not, because you can take away the oligarchs, you can throw them to prisons, confiscate everything they own. But the thing is, the new ones will come. If you don't have the foundation, it's useless. Christian, you forgot something. You would be looked by the criminal courts at Hague. I personally would be looked. Well, you know what? If someone from Hague looks at me and starts investigating, I don't mind. I haven't done anything that I am ashamed of. I have not committed any international human rights, you know, crimes. So let them look. I said that I would be trying to de-isolate Russia, to bring Russia back into the international community. And yes, I would sign that decree or law, whatever, that would bring Russia back into the international court's jurisdiction in a heartbeat. Okay, I would do that. Deborah, thank you so much for coming. Keith, we are the people. Mods for president. Let's do that. Yes, I don't mind. Coffee cake from Germany. Guten Abend. Rake flyer. Vote early. RW is a sponsor for 18 months. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much. And it's a high tier. And he's also a sponsor at buymeacoffee.com, and he bought a year sponsorship. So thank you. Thank you so much. I can't say it's been a great year and a half, but the company on this difficult journey has been fantastic. Thank you. Likewise. Thank you so much. You are one of those people who helped save my life, by coming back every stream, often, and by reaching out, and know that's you're one of those who saved my life. Without you, I don't know where I'd be. Robert Whip, thank you so much. Simply, thank you. I'm not going to read that. Katharina Holm, Konstantin, you need to try to assess in which country's democracy is the least dysfunctional. Sadly, the Nordic countries are declining. Besides, only Iceland and Finland are republics. Oi, Katharina, I don't want to assess. I have so much in Russia going on. If I start looking at other countries, I cannot stretch myself too thin. You know what I mean? I just rely on your opinion, and it's sad. One can hope or dream. Thank you so much, Alia. Thank you, friends, for good words. Way for you. How would you deal with Chinese? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Artistic Wolf. With all due respect, it's hard to imagine Zelensky trusting enough to meet with you. And I think withdrawing from Crimea would guarantee death, sadly. I would attempt that. I don't see a reason why they would not take me. I would be flying just, with probably a couple security guards. That's it. Defenseless. I would be flying with good intentions, and I would be flying with a intention to stop the war. And by the time I would land in Kiev, Russian troops would cease fire. Every single soldier would stop firing, and the missiles would stop flying. So I don't see a reason why he wouldn't take me in Kiev, okay? If not in Kiev, then in a neutral place in Switzerland. It's gonna happen like one day or another, okay? Someone's gonna meet. Someone from Russia and from Ukraine. I don't think it's gonna be Putin, but the next president. It's gonna get done. It'll happen. So thank you. And Crimea, withdrawing from Crimea would guarantee death. It could. Why are oligarchs dying in Russia? I think you don't know the answer. Krister Swede, SWE. Why they keep dying? Well, because some know too much, some have too much money, some probably too greedy, some lying and didn't share their money with others, and many reasons for that. Mr. Fixit, welcome to Inside Russia, another sponsor. Thank you so much for coming. And we have Taras Kulik. Thank you so much. Thank you, friend. I actually don't wish for it. I think that if you are become the president, you sell your soul to the devil, and or you die very soon. If you remain decent at that position, you die. But I think once you sit in that chair, it's like putting the ring of power on your finger. I think the power starts corrupting you. Okay. I had a glimpse of power. Thank goodness, not for long and not huge power, but I was managing a company with around 2,000 employees, and the company was not the best company. It was like a dictatorship, okay? I had a pretty high position in the company, and it gave me lots of rights, but the guy above me was the shareholder, the owner of the company, and he was basically wiping feet of everyone, and he was letting everyone wiping feet of the ones who were lower, okay, than them. I did not last long in that company, just a few months. I didn't like it very much, but I had enough power to get a feel of it, to taste of it, and it's not pretty, okay? I can't even imagine what the presidents of countries go through, okay? They're transformed by this evil. Power is a trap. They're transformed by it, and the longer you stay in power, the worse human being you become. So I certainly don't wish for myself to be in a position of power. I like to tell the truth. I like to spread messages. I like to share my opinions with people. I like to be, the head of the family. Okay, I like to be a public person, not to rely on anyone. These things, I really enjoy them. Presidency is a completely different thing, But if I were given a choice right now, it's interesting. I probably would take it, knowing that power corrupts, knowing that I probably wouldn't last long, I would take it just for one simple reason: for stopping the bloodshed, for ordering the troops to go back, Perhaps it would have to be required to fly and speak in front of the troops as, the leaders of the past did, okay? And leading the troops with personal example, just for that, I would become the president, and I definitely would not last long. Probably a day or two or three or something like that, Thank you so much. Mr. Patterson, thank you so much. I appreciate the support and nice words. Thank you. We dreamed the dream for half an hour, if only. Elsha, I did a stream while I was in Uzbekistan for the first time. April 2022. And it's called I Have a Dream. And then I remember that stream well, because I was telling, how I am dreaming about Russia, what Russia would become. So it reminded me that. Lisa, Konstantin, if you or anyone could accomplish any of those tasks, the world would start to heal and become a better place to live. I hope someone will step into those shoes, and, shoes will be the fit to the person. Official currency, Konstantinos. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, funny. By the way, I'm working on the crazy news. They're going to be funny this Friday too, Time flies. Really, the crazy news is the hardest. It's not the hardest, but it's the most time consuming piece of content I make. It literally takes me like 15 hours to produce the crazy news. So I work every day on them. So Hopefully you will like them. Terry Carter, howdy. Sonny Pulaski, Virginia, thank you. Cutmaster Kun. Hello, Konstantin. Greetings from Germany. Guten Abend. Your ideas are exactly the same thing Zelensky did in the series Sluga Naroda. I did not watch the series. I don't watch the series, I'm sorry. But I heard that he way before becoming president, he did a mini-series. That's funny. Well, we know how it's all turned out. Chris Lyons. If the Siloviki have so much power that would add reforms, how could Russia ever change? Well, good question. Very good question. I say this. Our life is so much more colorful and so much deeper than any of our ideas about it. Things change, okay? Things don't go as planned. In Russia, we say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans, right? So things happen, okay? What is seen solid right now can turn out not to be solid. The USSR fell apart, and the Siloviki in the USSR were also very, very rigid, okay, very solid, very strong. So it happened. Happened once, it can happen again. But good thinking too. I've been thinking about that a lot. Koshkin Dom, howdy. RW, thank you so much again. And Taras, welcome to the Inside Russia sponsorship. Thank you, friend. Kevin Baker, strict anti-corruption laws, strict window safety laws. Anti-corruption laws don't work. Russia has very strict anti-corruption laws. And you know what happens? When once in a while there's a good cop who goes against the system. Once that happens, that cop is arrested and charged with corruption. Okay? Evidence usually fabricated, and cops go to prison, and just for anyone inside this vertical of power. What Russia needs, I think, this is my thinking, perhaps I'm naive, perhaps, you can laugh at it, but I think Russia could benefit greatly from new technologies, such as blockchain, okay? Instead of just creating anti-corruption law and then trying to check on everyone, you need to create a new system of voting, a new system of making decisions, a new system of choosing the companies, the contractors for government financing, things like that, okay? So this is the way, but I don't think that new strict anti-corruption laws are the way. It's dead end. Andres Benz, naive. Yes, it's only useful as a list of what you do, but so don't work. Don't forget you're the president of all of them. Not sure what you said, Andres. Naive, yes, I also think so. It's only useful as a list. What do you have to do? Well, agreed. But so don't work. Don't forget you are the president of all then. Also for the loser of perestroika. Sorry, friend. Could you please rephrase it? Sprech one more, okay? Good, it's a slow day. Thank you, Bob. Lisa, P.S. please don't. Your message makes my heart ache at 62-year-old displaced in Armenian American. Don't they would rub you out, Nemtsov. Nemtsov was a good friend of my good friend, by the way. I saw Nemtsov a couple times. Yeah, he was ruthlessly killed. Rose, Ukraine wants their kids back. You know what? I would do that in a heartbeat on the very first day. I wouldn't go to sleep until doing it. WJ, I don't know what makes you said that, but whatever. As president, the Barbie song every day. That I could do. Thank you, Frank. Diana Smith, there are two main problems. You would probably not survive a week, and I totally agree with you, and that's what I said already. I would probably not survive 2 days. You would have done nothing to fix the huge inequalities within the country. Huge inequalities within the country. There are two kinds of inequalities. First is economic inequality, and I would definitely be trying to fix that. And that inequality was actually shrinking about 15, 20 years ago. Okay, and then Putin did it. Oops, I did it again. But the second inequality, most likely, well, the only one I know is there are classes. There's a huge gap between two classes, the rulers and everyone else. I would definitely try to fix that, okay? But I think the economy comes first. Once people are given freedom to act independently, to open business, to earn money, that changes people, okay? That changes their entire world, all right? And that's where the change would start, I think. Timothy, I wish and hope American and Russian people would get rid of our collective politicians. I hope everything will be good, you know. Craig Hughes, Constantine, would you join NATO and the EU? I would not join the European Union because Russia is not Europe. If you look at the map, I mean, Russia is more Asia than Europe, but I would definitely get closer with Europe. I would get treaties, all kinds of treaties, cultural, scientific exchange, definitely economic trade agreements and so forth. And I would try to bring Europe as close as possible to Russia, or Russia to Europe. Okay, so NATO, I would try, but at the current state of things, I don't think NATO would even consider this opportunity something. Anyway, you know what I would do? I would start looking around. I would start understanding what NATO interests are, and I would start thinking how I could go along with those interests. Okay, I would probably start for a way that NATO would invite Russia, not Russia knocking on NATO's door. Okay, but what I would certainly do, I would make sure that Russia would not ever pull a trick, start a war like what is done to Ukraine or anything like that. So I don't know how, but I'm sure that there are smart people who could help me out. Appeal to young Russians is the way to go, I think, definitely. And I mentioned that the education system has to be absolutely revamped, redone. People got to be fired, and new ones got to be... Well, the truth must be taught to Russian students. So hope it grows. Thank you. E. Austin, I would urge the presidents to talk to one another and solve the Ukrainian issue. And this is exactly what I would do. I would talk to everyone. Palvia flex. What would the first lady do is next to the president constantly? I'm not sure. If I ever said that, oh Natasha, you think she'd probably smack me in the head? I was like, what? Oh, Kim M, what were your thoughts on most of the tax money going to Moscow then you lived there? I really like that you would want that to change now. Oi, Kim, it's a complicated question. You see, it seemed not that scary. It seemed wrong, but it didn't seem that bad, that evil, okay? It's just, we were feeling, well, I was feeling that's how things are done in Russia. That's one huge country, one huge system. I gotta mind my own business, do the work the best I can, support the family, and, all of that. Mistake. Mistake made by me and by 140 million Russians. So tax money going to Moscow is not right. Tax money gonna stay where they belong, with people at the local levels, as much of it as possible. And the people are to decide where to and how to spend their money. Okay. Once you have this money, money gives you power. You can control the provinces. Okay. This is how power works. Okay, imagine if Moscow wasn't paying for anything. It would say the governor, oh, do this. And the governor would look at the president or who minister said, you are? Why are you telling it to me? Things like that, Would you apply to join NATO? I already answered. Pam3 Kate, thank you. Alia, are you sure you trust Russian planes? Well, if I were the president of Russia, I would fly Russian planes only. Trust, not trust, who cares? Okay, because, hey, it's Russia. And if I'm elected by the people, I gotta do things that I think they're right, Would you have free elections? Well, that's the whole point. I would try to teach people that they need to live, not to live, but to understand that it's about them. They decide. They set up the rules of the game. It's called democracy. That's without it. That's the end part of my stream. Without it, you can change the government. You can purge everyone, but the new ones will come and they will do the same thing. Without changing the foundation, you cannot succeed. John from Liverpool, howdy. Dream would come true. Thank you so much. Emily S, I already answered that. Also important, would the first lady smack me in the head before I become the president? Yeah, probably that's what she would do. Susan Angela, I hope all those Russian politicians and oligarchs have to live the rest of their lives inside Russia. Me too, and that would be very fair. No traveling. Yes. South Africa, Marie Nell. From your lips to the ears of God. Thank you. Ralph, thank you so much for the good words. Please do not dream about changes in Russia. There's currently no need for the average Russian to change his point of view. Atomic Electron, howdy, thank you so much. Disagree, you could help much. Oligarchs in a circle would turn the population against you, and this is exactly what I said. It's the most difficult job in the world to change Russia like that. If you jump right into the Western friendship, those who have a stake in not changing things would go after you. Exactly what I said. But in order to succeed, one would need to have complete and utter support of the entire every single Russian. Okay, that's the only way. And other than that, you're absolutely right that the person like what I've said about probably wouldn't last much long wouldn't last a day. Folks, I think I've got it carried away a little bit. Gotta start wrapping up. I'd be happy to be wrong. No, you're right. Just got here. Don't lose hope. Sometimes it's difficult to do, let me tell you. Time change. Yes, I am looking forward to discussing with Lorna and Mommy, because I would love to start my streams 1 hour early. It means I get 1 more hour sleep, so that's extra hour of sleep. I'll be honest, Russia makes really great TV shows. What is that, Benjamin? Name me one. Arms manufacturers would go after you too. Everyone would go after me, but you know what? Someone's gonna do that. There will be a new president. Container. Never heard of it. Mid lane vampires. Never heard of it. I'm sorry. Nightbot. Yes, heard. Popular leaders don't live long in Russia, sadly. Yes, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, that's the most that... Put it this way. No one would ensure a president like Russia of Russia who would try to change Russia like that. Okay, no insurance company would come even close. Yeah, Constitution, we already talked to that. Friends, that's been a very interesting stream. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wrapping up. Let's make a little different prayer today. Mommy's here. Greetings. How sharp is your keyboard? Not sharp enough to cut myself. Why? Anyway. Again, thank you, friends. And the last super chat from Atomic Electron. New leader has to have integrity. Huge pieces of anatomy of steel. Yes, that's true. All right, folks, thank you so much. Fantastic to have you all here. It's been a good stream. Thank you again. Let's pray. Thank you. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for giving us our lives. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving us roofs over our heads, giving us warmth of homes. Thank you for surrounding with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and quiet, safe. Please give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up and become adults, they will make this world a better place. Dear Lord, for now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Do everything that is possible in your power, and you can do everything, to reach out and actually to wake up people who are capable and responsible for making the decisions, to make the main decision of their lives to stop the bloodshed. Help every single Ukrainian who has been affected by this terrible tragedy, answer their prayers and make their wish come true. Every single person. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia. Assemble the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, and send them to Russia, to this earth, so they come to Russia and get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country. Dear Lord, I say this prayer every single day when I stream. I would like to ask you more this time. I would like to ask you to give Russia a chance to send one of your people to lead it, to show Russia the way, to change it. So a new leader comes and he has enough power, he has enough strength, he has enough courage, enough faith. So he does things that are right and changes my country to the better. Okay, please send a person like that or people like that, and send your angels along to help them. So the angels will have the good people run Russia and make it peaceful, make it right, make it loving, loved, respected, and respecting. Thank you. Dear Lord, please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels. Everyone who is seeking asylum, please help. Help families that are in need and are in danger. Help, bless those who are helping Ukrainians, and help Ukrainians who are suffering from Russian attacks right now. Dear Lord, please help the ones who are hungry, addicted, homeless, jobless, depressed, betrayed, sick, not feeling well about themselves and about their lives. Please fill the hearts of everyone, the heart of everyone in need with your love, surround with your warmth, so people feel you. They can feel your love, and they, by feeling that, they will feel better about themselves and about their lives, and they will have a chance to turn their lives and live happily. Thank you very much for allowing us to create this community. Thank you for allowing us to pray together every single day. Thank you for everyone who's praying along with me. Bless them. And everyone who's just watching us pray. Answer everyone's wish and answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Thank you so much, dear Lord. I would like to ask you for some people. They need your help. They are a little girl named Sarah. She needs recovery. She needs your help. She needs angels. She needs your love. Please send everything she needs. Time at the surgical ward, the good surgeons, recovery. Please make her feel good, make her recover, and have her go home fully recovered. Answer prayers of her parents who are praying 24/7. Give them strength and give them what they are asking for. Thank you. I'm also asking to help Kyle E.'s wife, Joseph Johnson, Paula McGillis, Hygie Homestead, CB, Ann Larson. Her daughter Anna needs help. Morgan L. Please send recovery. It was a motorcycle accident. Terry Carter's former in-laws need help. Let Louise' last chapter on earth be filled with joy. T-Fall. Mike O'Neill, Summers 613's mother. Dave, Dawn, Anna and Poland. Wayne, Scan families members who are not feeling well. Please send them all recovery. Sam from Kiev, Bas Salmon, Leslie Fleming's daughter, Taylor Fleming, Jay Spike, Jason Corner, Hannah, Julia Haney, Susie Mailer, Lise Dumbrell, Darla, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Randolph, Grace Philosophy, Mr. Dean Spooner, his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Rafaela, David Porter from Chernovtsi and his family and everyone from Chernovtsi, the Highwayman, John Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Terry Carter, Pamela J., and Michael Yukon. Please help all the children who have been affected from Ukraine by this terrible tragedy. Send them home, don't leave them. Send them your love. Send angels to watch over them. Thank you. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, fantastic to see you here again today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me another chance to share my thoughts with you. I hope it was entertaining. Can't really say that it was useful much, but at least I hope it was entertaining. Please come back for another message tomorrow. Thursday, there will be a message on the situation in Russia, and on Friday, crazy Russian news update. Thank you. I would like to say before I sign off that you are absolutely awesome and you rock. And I'd like to ask you something as usual. Please say along with me as loud as you can. Carthago delenda est.